welcome to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Kaylee, and on this channel I cover all things true crime, travel, lifestyle, and just generalized vlogs. But today I am going to continue the Outlander series that I am absolutely loving. So each and every single week I have been bringing out a video all about Outlander in order to cure some of my droughtlanderness. Now, if you're new to Outlander, this is not the first video I would recommend. I would start more at the beginning if you have not watched the TV show Outlander or you have not read the books. This video will contain spoilers, and really, I don't think you'll understand the context of what is going to be discussed. So again, I say, if Outlander is sort of something you've only just gotten into, jump over to another video. I will put one up in the cards section that might give you more of an understanding of the amazing world of Outlander. So just a spoiler warning, even if you are an Outlander fan and you know what's coming, if you're not prepared for spoilers in regards to why Claire may have travelled through the stones, click away. This video won't be for you, and it does most certainly contain some spoilers. So no doubt by the title of the video, you have clicked on it because you are like me and you want to know and you want to discuss why you think Claire initially went through the stones and headed back to 1744. So I have been scouring the internet looking for all of the different theories because there are some fantastic theories on why they think Claire went through the stones and why she ended up where she did. And I want to go through some of my favourite ones that I actually found. So let's jump straight into it with theory number one. Now, we all know that Claire and Frank were doing their second honeymoon in Scotland, and of course Frank was starting to go deep into the research about his ancestry. So we know at the time Frank and Reverend Wakefield and Claire basically were discussing all about Black Jack Randall. So one of the theories that I found that I thought, now that really hasn't been played up very much, but it could most certainly help, is what if Claire was actually thinking about Black Jack Randall? So when she did arrive at the Stones, she was actually thinking about Frank's ancestors, Black Jack Randall, and that is what drew her to that time. I mean, that's not the love story that everybody wants to hear, obviously. I mean, Black Jack Randall is just horrible, but it's a pretty good explanation for how she got to that time when technically she shouldn't have known anybody else in that time period. And she was currently talking about Black Jack Randall with Frank and Reverend Wakefield, you know, in that sort of timeline of events. And I mean, it could have been just sitting in the back of her head, you know, Frank's ancestry, Black Jack Randall. I don't know. Again, I say it's not really the lovey-dovey sort of theory that people want, but I like that one. I liked it a lot. Now, this next theory is actually one of my all-time favorites, and it doesn't really involve much of imagination. Like, it's more, this could be a practical thing that is just thrown in at the end to explain it. But what if Claire goes to the stones to pick the flowers, the forget-me-not flowers, and all she is doing is thinking, I wonder who planted these. I wonder if somebody has planted these for a specific reason. I wonder if they're a tribute to somebody, and then bang, she's back in time to the era of when the initial forget-me-not flowers were planted in that circle of stones. That would be a fun little twist. I believe that could be also played up with what if Jamie planted the forget-me-not flowers, which is something that I did keep reading. You know, people were saying the forget-me-not flowers, Jamie has to have done something, you know, for her to go there to pick them. But what if the origins was just, she was thinking, who planted these? And it does end up ending being Jamie, to get that sort of love twist into there as well. I thought that was a really cute one. There is something about the flowers. I know people are saying, no, it can't be flowers, but I just think there's going to be a little twist with the flowers eventually. Now, if you have been following along into my Droughtlander series, you know that the last week's Droughtlander video was all about Jamie's ghost. So theory 3 sort of ties in with that video, which if you haven't checked out, I'm going to put it in the cards above or into the description below. Makes it a bit easier. But the third theory that I want to talk about is what if Jamie's ghost is what actually draws Claire through the stones? Now, I did cover this a lot more, like I said in that previous video, but what if it is all about the stones and Claire, and that's the ghost is just to sort of lead her into the realm of the stones? It's a good theory, but I just, like I said in that other video, I don't know if I think there's going to be more to Jamie's ghost, so I don't believe, don't shoot me now, but I don't believe that that'll be the reason for Claire to go through the stones. I don't believe the ghost had anything to do with pulling her through. But it was a cool theory to read, and I know a lot of people do. They are linking the ghosts of Jamie with Claire initially going through the stones. The next theory was all basically about fate. What if it was just fate that drew Claire towards the stones? Well, if that is the case and that is the theory that the storyline goes down, I mean, that could be plausible. Because technically Claire has already lived through the past. Like, even though she's now born again in the future, what if her next sort of life cycle is starting again in the future, but her spirit or her being has already lived her life in the past? So it's just like a continuous loop. So they go through, okay, we're born, back to the past, born, back to the past, and the stones just constantly draw her there. I mean, she would now recently gone through the war and she was getting back to know Frank, but it didn't matter what her life path was taking, she was drawn to the circle of stones and then to go back and start again. I don't know if the time loop sort of will play throughout the books, but it is a good theory. But I really thought people were very passionate about this theory throughout different forums that I was reading. Now, the next theory is something that I have sort of put together in my mind, and it's going to be hard to explain. I've really picked and nicked pieces of other people's theories and sort of molded it to create my own. But what if the stones are a massive power being and they draw who they want to the stones? Now, bear with me. This is what I mean. This one is very hard to explain because it's so jumbled in my head. But if the stones are drawing people that they think can alter the past and the future for the better of the world, could the stones be drawing the people that they need to them in order to change outcomes? So, for example, we know that Claire going through the stones results in Jamie being saved. Now, obviously, Jamie being saved then just snowballs into an effect of their whole life, right down to the point where Bree is born, then Bree has Jem and Mandy. What if the overall outcome is that the stones need an almighty powerful being like Jem or Mandy? I do believe that they are going to be something of a powerhouse force in the next two books. Now, maybe the stones are like, okay, we need to start this off because in whatever era poor Mandy and Jem are going to live in, this is going to happen and we need them to be there to stop it. So they start off mixing little bits and pieces here and here to know that there is some sort of great power in that era that's going to help the world. That becomes very supernatural and very out there, I know, but it's a theory that's in my head and it was so hard to put down even on paper to explain. But I hope that that has come across how I want it to. I don't even know how to put that one in a nutshell, but basically the stones are sort of setting up superheroes to say for future problems the world is going to face, and Jem and Mandy are basically the creation of that. I don't know. It was something that I was like, this is very sci-fi, Kaylee. This is getting very further into the realm. I don't know, but if that somehow works into a theory, I will be just amazed. But I do love that one. I love that, you know, it's more about the future. It is a time travel show, basically, back and forth. So who knows? Who knows? But what do you think about any of the theories that I have said today? Is there a theory that you have that I haven't mentioned? Because there are so many different theories, and I want to talk about them all with every single one of you. Please drop it in a comment below what you think your theory is, or what theory you've read and you've just fallen in love with and you hope that that is what sort of is written about or how it comes about. And then on the other hand, what if we never know? What if it's just never explained and we get to make up our own theory as to why Claire goes through the stones? I think I need answers. I need real answers. That last book, man, it's going to be a long wait. Droughtlander's going to be just, wow, Droughtlander for book 10. How crazy is that going to be? If you have lasted all the way to the end of this video and you have not hit that subscribe button, please consider hitting it. It really does help our channel grow. I do bring out a new Outlander video every single week, so I will hopefully see you in the next video. Bye!